99 years. That's how long I've been on this earth. And if there's one thing I know with absolute certainty, it's this. Most of you watching this right now are spending the second half of your life chasing things that will quietly stop mattering far sooner than you expect. I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm here because I wish someone had sat me down decades ago and told me exactly what I'm about to tell you.
So stay with me, because what I'm sharing today could genuinely save you years of wasted energy, unnecessary heartache, and quiet regret.
My name is Lillian, and I am 99 years old. I've watched generations of people, brilliant, hard-working, well-meaning people, spend their most precious years on things that simply didn't deserve them. And the painful truth is, most of them never saw it happening. They were too busy, too distracted, too convinced that the path they were on was the right one because everyone else seemed to be walking it too.
Here's what I've come to understand after nearly a century of living. Clarity is one of the rarest and most valuable gifts age can offer. But it only comes to those who are willing to look honestly at where their time and energy are actually going. Not where they think it's going, not where they wish it was going, where it's actually going. Today, I want to walk you through 7 things that, in my honest opinion, are a complete waste of your time after 50. And I want to tell you what's worth focusing on instead, because that part matters just as much. The 7th one on this list is the hardest to accept. It's the one that feels the most reasonable, the most justified, and yet it's the one that quietly costs people the most years. Let's get into it. The first thing people waste far too much time on after 50 is competing with other people. Most of us grew up in an environment that treated life like a scoreboard. Grades in school, rankings at work, salaries compared over dinner tables, retirement accounts whispered about at neighborhood gatherings. Competition was baked into us from the very beginning. And for a while, maybe it served a purpose. It pushed us forward. But somewhere around 50, if you're paying attention, you start to notice something. You're running hard, breathing heavy, putting in the effort, and you look around and realize you're not even sure what race you're in anymore. You see someone your age who just got a promotion, bought a bigger house, or seems to have their retirement perfectly mapped out, and suddenly this quiet voice in your head whispers that you're behind. But behind what, exactly? You don't even want what they have.
You never did.
The comparison trap is dangerous precisely because it feels logical. But everyone around you is playing an entirely different game with entirely different rules, different starting points, different definitions of winning. Here's what I'd encourage you to do instead. Compete only with who you were 5 years ago. Ask yourself whether you're more grounded now, more at peace, more authentically yourself. If the answer is yes, then you are winning in ways that most people will never even understand, let alone appreciate. The second waste is one that strikes close to home for so many people, and that's tying your entire identity to your career. For decades, your job title was essentially shorthand for your worth. You introduced yourself by what you did for a living, your sense of purpose, your daily structure, your social standing. All of it was wrapped up in that role. And society didn't just allow this, it encouraged it, celebrated it even. But here's what nobody tells you. When that chapter ends, whether through retirement, a career change, or simply outgrowing a season of your life, if your whole identity was sitting inside that role, losing it can feel like losing yourself. And that's a devastating place to be at any age, but especially later in life when rebuilding feels so much harder. The invitation here is to challenge the deep-seated belief that you need a label to matter. Who are you when you're not working? What makes you curious? What brings you alive?
The second chapter of life isn't about climbing higher. It's about going deeper into creativity, into contribution, into the quieter things that always mattered but never quite got the time they deserved. Third on this list, and this one surprises people, is forcing yourself to finish things that are no longer serving you. We were raised on the idea that quitting is shameful. Finish what you start. Push through. Don't be a quitter. So we force ourselves through books we stopped enjoying 3 chapters ago. We sit through shows that lost our interest halfway through the season. We drag ourselves through hobbies we convinced ourselves we should love, but honestly never did. And what's the cost? Hours, sometimes weeks or months of your life spent on experiences that add nothing, inspire nothing, and give nothing back, just so you can say you saw it through. After 50, when the reality of time's finiteness starts to settle in, this trade starts to look very different. Stopping something that isn't working isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Redirect that energy toward what genuinely engages you, challenges you, or brings you real joy. Finishing something mediocre doesn't make you disciplined. It just makes you stubborn. Your time is the most valuable currency you have. Spend it accordingly. Fourth, and this one is quietly exhausting millions of people every single day, doing things simply because you think you're supposed to. I'm not talking about the difficult realities of life we all have to push through. I'm talking about the things you actually have a choice about, but convince yourself you don't. The family gatherings you attend out of guilt rather than genuine desire. The committee you joined because saying no felt too awkward. The favors you keep offering to people who never once reciprocate. There is a meaningful difference between genuine kindness and people-pleasing. One comes from a place of real choice and healthy generosity. The other comes from fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of disapproval, fear of conflict. When you give from a place of obligation rather than intention, you breed quiet resentment. You show up, but not fully, and everyone can feel it, including you. Start investing your presence in relationships where it's genuinely valued. Do things for others because you truly want to, not to earn love you should already feel you deserve. Fifth is the need to be right. Oh, this one has stolen so many hours from so many people. By 50, most of us have noticed that the majority of arguments, especially online, have very little to do with actually finding truth. They're about winning, about having the last word, about feeling validated. And if you keep getting pulled into that current, you will find yourself spending enormous amounts of emotional energy trying to convince people who made up their minds long before you typed your first word. Value peace more than you value being right. That doesn't mean abandoning your principles or pretending you have no opinions. It means recognizing which battles are worth your energy and which ones are simply not. The moment you stop needing the last word in every conversation, something remarkable happens. You reclaim your peace. And peace, at any age, but especially after 50, is worth protecting fiercely. Sixth, and you already know exactly who I'm referring to, tolerating energy vampires. The people who only reach out when they need something. The friends who manage to turn every single conversation back to themselves within the first 2 minutes. The acquaintances who reliably leave you feeling hollow and tired after every interaction. These aren't necessarily bad people, they're just expensive. And after a certain point in life, you simply cannot afford them. Every hour you spend being drained is an hour you're not spending with people who genuinely energize you, or simply in your own company, which is sometimes the most restorative thing of all. Create distance without guilt.
Protect your energy the way you would protect any other finite, irreplaceable resource. Spend it on people who actually appreciate it and give something real back. And seventh, the hardest one. Expecting people to eventually become someone different than who they've shown you they are. This is the last illusion that falls away in midlife, and it falls slowly and painfully. The belief that if you're patient enough, loving enough, or persistent enough, people will finally rise to become who you always believed they could be. They won't. And the years spent waiting for that transformation are years you will never get back. Having standards is not the problem. You should absolutely expect honesty, respect, and effort from the people in your life. But there is a profound difference between expecting healthy behavior as part of a real relationship and continuing to expect it from someone who has consistently shown you they're either unwilling or incapable of offering it. When someone repeatedly shows you who they are, believe them. Accept that truth without bitterness.
And from that honest, clear-eyed place, ask yourself the only question that actually matters. Can I genuinely accept this person as they are, or do I need to create distance to protect my own peace? That's where real freedom begins, not in changing others, in finally releasing the need to.
If any part of what I've shared today resonated with you, even one of these 7 things, I want you to sit with it. Not just nod along and scroll to the next video. Actually sit with it. Ask yourself honestly where your energy is going right now and whether those places deserve it.
I have lived 99 years. I have seen what people wish they had done differently, and I have seen what the people who lived with the least regret had in common. They stopped performing life for an audience that wasn't watching. They invested in what was real. They protected their peace, and they gave themselves permission to stop waiting and start living.
If this spoke to you, please give this video a like. It genuinely helps more people find this message who might need it. Share your own experience in the comments below. I read every single one, and your stories matter to me more than you know. And if you're working toward a better, more intentional second chapter, subscribe and come back, because we're just getting started. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Take good care of yourself.